All right, that's enough rankings talk. Tune in
Woo!
next week to hear us do
Woo!
more of that because we're going to have a whole month more of this, guys. It's
Sweat
only going to
that
get
out.
crazier from here. Let's move to the quote unquote game of the century ? Tennessee, Georgia. I don't think that is the game of the century, but it's a damn good game. It's the number 1 team in the country against the number 3 team in the country. The Tennessee offense, the Georgia defense. I don't know that you're going to find a more entertaining football game in college football this season, or a game with more playoff implications to every single thing we just talked about. From a betting perspective, that's my side of things. Bet Rivers. Tennessee is over a touchdown underdogs in this game, 7.5 points. I am just baffled that they are that large of underdogs in this game. So let's start there. Hack, do you actually think that Georgia is a full touchdown better on paper than the number 1 team in the country, Tennessee?
It's going to be interesting. If Georgia can control the time of possession and control the clock, it's not crazy to me that could happen. I just don't know if they will be able to. And here's the other thing. You just posed this as the Georgia defense versus the Tennessee offense. But I'm going to take this from our boys down at Saturday Down South. Georgia has the number 2 offense in the country behind Tennessee in total offense. So you got the battle of the top 2 offenses in college football, which a lot of people don't understand. And like I said, it's 2 different flavors. It's the fast
They definitely manufacture it different.
It's different, but it's just as effective, right? And I think the one kind of plays into how Georgia plays as a complete football team, where they play great defense, very, very sound defense. And then they also play dominating, possess the ball offense, and have some explosive mismatch players like Brock Bowers that they try to get the ball creatively in space. And then, like I said, you have a Tennessee team who kind of takes shots defensively, has a great kind of front 7. They can create a good pass rush and then are kind of risky at times. And it pays off, like high risk, high reward. But they know that they have a Ferrari on the other side of the football that can go with anybody. So, it's just really interesting. So I think it could play out. I don't think it's going to play out that way. I think it's going to be a very much Bama-esque type game, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We'll just see how Tennessee deals with, because it is between the hedges, correct? It's at Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah, it's in Athens.
Yeah, so we'll see how Tennessee deals with that. The last challenge they had was Pitt.
Didn't go so well, did it? I mean, they still came out. They came out unscathed.
They came out unscathed, but the last away challenge they had was fucking the Fighting Pitt Panthers. Greg Waddell's 7-point spreads. Either way, doesn't matter who shows up. Either way,
I'm telling you,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So here's why I think this is the biggest. They said the biggest game of the century. Is that what it was?
That's in the rundown for the show. Game of the century ? Is the question.
It definitely, like, going into the hype of a game. I don't know. I mean, people discount LSU. That LSU year was crazy. I feel like this has the same effect to me as like the LSU year, kind of when they played Bama, or Joe Burrow was like. To me, it's that same effect because it's kind of cool. No, honestly, this might be even better because LSU's had some runs. Tennessee hasn't been good for a while. Like LSU won. Like, when's the last time Tennessee's really been good? Like LSU won a natty with like Tyrann Mathieu and them. They had some couple runs. Like this, honestly, just because of the awe factor and just the narratives behind these programs. Like, you got 2 blue bloods of college football, and Tennessee just hasn't been good. And now they're the number 1 team in the country. And that fan base, bro, they got one of the craziest fan. Like just like that stadium, bro. Neyland Stadium is crazy. Like going there, the atmosphere is amazing, and for their fan base to really rally behind them, like they obviously already beat Bama. Yeah, it definitely could be just like the hype going to the game and just the what's at stake, and the fact you're on the same side of the division. Like this really determines your destiny. Honestly, like. Yeah, it's crazy to say, but just the hype behind it, it definitely could be one of the bigger games. I personally just want to see Tennessee win because their fan base they've been in a drought, bro. This is the Lord's opened the floodgates this year. Like it wasn't no gradual turning. They like won a decent bowl game last year. Now they're like the number 1 team in the country, and nobody besides Hendon Hooker probably thought that he would be doing what he's doing. I know I've known him, played at VT. I think he was always been a playmaker. But bro was up for the Heisman, which if he don't get the Heisman this year, they tripping. Like I don't like bro has did everything. I think he needs the Heisman like right now in his hands. Unless Bryce Young does something crazy or CJ Stroud. But to me, he's been the best player in college football this year and has the best team. So yeah, I think it's definitely down for a showdown. I kind of see it like Hack does. I see this game being like a shootout. I think that's what people want to see too. I would hate for it to be a slow game. I want to see a sexy, fast, you know what I'm saying, got me on the edge of my seat, like just that type of game.
So if it is the slow game, if it's our dreaded nightmare, that obviously benefits Georgia, right? Is this a battle of who can force their play style more? And if it is that battle, like who do we think is more likely to enforce their will that way? Is it the Tennessee high-powered deep shots, or is it Georgia?
To me, like I wonder how Georgia's going to play them. Like I feel like I think Georgia. I've seen Tennessee put together some drives, but a lot of Tennessee's, even like the Bama game, a lot of Tennessee's points are like huge chunks of offense. Like it's like daggers. Like they do a
great job of manufacturing it though. Like they create so much stress with alignment and
right.
just extending the splits. They create natural
they challenge
natural binds. But yeah,
right.
Correct. They create a lot of natural binds, and I think that's why you have so many guys running fucking smack free. And Heupel does a great job of dialing it up and calling things, and they just execute it. They don't do a lot, but they just do it fast and they execute it at a very high clip.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, to me, if you gotta put together drives, like I wonder if Georgia's gonna play conservative. Because I feel like I would just kind of, I don't know, like go cover two, like play it safe, like see if Tennessee can run the ball, like kind of like that's how I would play going into the game. Like let's see if Tennessee can run the ball, it's gonna be a long night. But like I would do everything I can to not let anything get over top. And obviously, I guess people have tried that, but I think that sometimes people go into these games like the macho mentality, like, hey, we're like, no, we got some 5-star players over here. We're gonna play man to man, and we're gonna impose our will. And I think that's cool. But like I just wouldn't do it this game. I would play conservative if I was Georgia and let them see if they can run the ball early on. And if they can't do that, I feel like you kind of got a chance. To me, that play either way could, like I think Georgia can take some shots. Not that they take a lot of shots. I think they can if they need to. But Georgia's gonna run the ball. Like it's I just wonder how they I just wonder. I wonder.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Tennessee can dictate the game more than Georgia can in terms of just their offense. Now they need to figure out ways how to get the ball in their offense's hands as much as possible, because they are so fast paced and because they do score so fast or punt so fast, right? They haven't punted the ball much this year, but that's kind of the backfire of going fast. I think their defense needs to force Georgia into a game that I don't think they want to do. And I think it's going to be very similar to what they did against Alabama, where they take the run away. I don't know if Georgia has a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs back there that can still get his. But I do think that the overall scheme at Georgia is going to be able to manufacture some bigger runs that are going to keep them going. But if you can limit that and make it a Stetson Bennett versus Hendon Hooker game, like they did kind of a Bryce Young versus Hendon Hooker game, I think Tennessee likes their chances at that. And that's not a knock on Stetson at all. And it wasn't a knock at Bryce Young either, because Bryce Young played a phenomenal game and they still lost. I think that's just kind of how Tennessee envisions games, and they're all right going to war like that. They'll take a lump or they'll win it. Kind of how they did against Bama. So I think that's how they're going to approach it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say they're